Welcome to the Deep Dive.
No.
Today, we're digging into a really interesting chat Rainn Wilson had on the Dre and Smiley, The Inner Circle podcast.
Yeah, it was a great interview.
Our mission, basically, is to unpack some key things. His career, sure, but also his activism, his views on life, spirituality.
All that good stuff. The source is the audio itself, so it feels pretty personal, pretty conversational.
Exactly. And for you listening, this is maybe a chance to see how someone like him, successful actor, handles fame, uses his platform.
And keeps grounded, right. There might be some takeaways for your own journey, finding meaning and navigating things.
Definitely. Okay, so let's jump in. Maybe start with his early life influences. He mentioned a small role in a film called Ezra.
Yeah.
And he seemed quite proud that it aims for a really realistic take on autism.
Which is interesting, right? That focus on authenticity and stories, it kind of echoes what we see later with his activism and spirituality, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like a thread running through.
Seems like it. A desire to connect with, well, genuine human stuff, on and off screen.
And speaking of genuine connections, he dedicated his book, Soul Boom, to his father, Robert Wilson.
Ah, yes.
He described him vividly an artist, abstract painter, but also an aspiring sci-fi writer and a sewer repairman.
That's quite the mix, isn't it?
It really is.
It really paints a picture of someone complex, the art and the very, very practical job side by side.
Yeah.
Maybe that gave Rainn a certain perspective, like creativity and real life aren't separate worlds.
Could be.
Yeah.
He also spoke quite movingly about his father passing away, and specifically about the Bahá'í perspective on death. He mentioned it being like a transition of the soul.
Right, leaving the physical body.
He used the phrase, kind of humorously, shedding the meat suit.
Yeah, I remember that. In the Bahá'í Faith, it's viewed as a continuation, not an end, but the soul moving on, progressing spiritually. And it sounds like that belief offered some comfort. He described seeing his father's body and recognizing that the life force wasn't there anymore.
Wow, that's powerful.
It really is. It touches on things we all think about, loss, mortality, what happens next.
Definitely makes you reflect on your own experiences, how different beliefs frame these big questions. Okay, let's maybe shift gears to his activism, LIDÈ Haiti.
Right.
He said after The Office hit big, he was just flooded with requests from nonprofits, felt overwhelmed.
Which is understandable. Suddenly you have this platform and everyone wants a piece of it. You have to choose where to put your energy.
So it seems like connecting with the Mona Foundation was key. That led to a trip to Haiti in 2009.
Yeah, and that trip seemed pivotal.
He said the level of poverty there really shocked him, even having traveled in, Central America, North Africa before.
It underscores the immense challenges Haiti faces, doesn't it?
Absolutely. But he also talked about just falling in love with the place.
The culture, the people.
Yeah, the music, art, food. He spoke with real warmth about it.
Which is so important, I think. Seeing beyond the hardship to the richness and resilience that's there. That personal connection seems like the real root of his commitment.
And then, tragically, the earthquake hit in 2010.
A devastating event.
And that really seems to have cemented his resolve to do something tangible.
So he co-founded LIDÈ Haiti.
With Haitian friends, yeah.
Yeah.
And focused specifically on arts education for adolescent girls.
Which is a really smart focus. Empowering girls through arts and education can create huge ripples in a community.
It's not just about aid, is it?
No, it's about fostering skills, creativity, long-term opportunities, building from within.
And look how it's grown. He said it's in, 12 locations now?
Serving nearly 1,000 girls.
With programs covering arts, literacy, health, food, scholarships, mentoring, even apprenticeships. It sounds incredibly comprehensive.
Really holistic.
Yeah.
And the structure now, a $1.5 million budget, mostly Haitian staff, Haitian director and board.
That's huge.
It speaks volumes about building something sustainable, empowering local leadership. That's how it should be done, ideally.
He also tackled that criticism you sometimes hear. Actors should just act.
The shut up and play basketball thing.
Right. He connected his activism back to his Bahá'í Faith. The idea of contributing to an ever-advancing civilization. Framing it as, a basic human responsibility, not just something celebrities do.
Yeah, that's a key reframing. It's not about being special. It's about using whatever platform you have, big or small, to try and make things better based on your values.
Which actually ties nicely into Soul Pancake, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. His digital media company.
Founded way back, aiming for deeper conversations online about spirituality, mental health, social justice.
Right, using the internet for something more meaningful. Even in the early days of social media, he saw that potential.
Which is pretty forward-thinking then.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Tackling subjects that weren't always mainstream online at that point.
And the name, Soul Pancake. He said it was very deliberate, memorable.
Apparently Spirit Taco was in the running too.
Huh. Okay, Soul Pancake works better, I think.
Me too. It's quirky, suggests something substantial, but also kind of accessible, maybe? Fits the vibe.
Okay, let's talk about fame itself. He said with 6 Feet Under, recognition grew slowly.
Mm-hmm. A gradual thing.
But The Office, that was like a tidal wave.
Total explosion.
He talked about how weird it was strangers saying, I love you,
Right.
and realizing, crucially, that they loved Dwight, the character. Not him, Rainn Wilson.
That's got to be a strange headspace to navigate this intense affection for a persona you play.
Yeah, like a reverse imposter syndrome almost.
Exactly. It really highlights that disconnect between the public image and the actual person. Requires a lot of self-awareness not to get lost in that.
He mentioned the ego side too, like seeing your face huge on a billboard in Times Square.
Must be incredibly surreal and potentially warping if you're not careful.
Makes maintaining humility a constant practice, I'd imagine.
For sure. He shared a couple of funny stories that seemed quite grounding, though. Oh, yeah.
One about being in India and people just wanting photos because he was a foreigner, not because he was famous.
Yeah, just another tourist.
Basically. And another one on a plane where someone watched The Office right next to him.
No way.
Didn't recognize him at all, even when he told them who he was, and then gave him notes on the show.
That's brilliant. Keeps you humble, right?
Absolutely. A reminder that the celebrity bubble isn't the whole world. Fame is often pretty context dependent.
So, thinking about his advice, particularly for younger people starting out,
Yeah.
he really stressed that there aren't any shortcuts. Everyone has to go through their own process, their own journey,
Such an important point.
and pursue creative stuff, acting, writing, whatever, for the love of it. He mentioned the word amateur, meaning for the love of.
That's the core of it, isn't it? That
Yeah.
intrinsic motivation is what keeps you going through the tough times, not just chasing fame or money.
He said that was his motivation for acting, loving theater, stories, making people laugh.
Not aiming for stardom initially. No, he seemed almost surprised it happened, given how he saw himself. And he described his early career as just following breadcrumbs, like step by step.
That slow burn often builds a stronger foundation, I think. More resilience, deeper craft, better than maybe a sudden flash in the pan.
Good point. Let's just quickly loop back to that film, Ezra.
Okay.
He really emphasized its goal, a truly realistic portrayal of autism's challenges.
And starring a neurodivergent actor in the main role, which is significant.
Yeah, he called it a gorgeous old-fashioned story, like a road trip, a family story.
But grounded. No superpowers or laser beams, as he put it.
Just human experience.
Which feels really valuable. That push for authentic representation, especially around neurodiversity, is so needed.
Agreed. Okay, let's lighten things up a bit with his final 4 rapid-fire answers.
Fun. Okay.
Best piece of advice he got from Hank Azaria.
Oh, yeah. Fellow actor.
Told him, even as an intellectual actor, always find the heart and guts of the character, the emotion.
That's gold. You need that emotional core, not just the ideas, to really connect.
Makes sense. Dream 24 hours with any actor.
Who do you pick?
Peak Jack Nicholson, like 70s to 90s era.
Wow. Okay. Intense choice.
He cited the consistent excellence, the intriguing persona, mentioned The Shining, which everyone knows.
Yeah, Nicholson back then.
Yeah.
Iconic. You can see why an actor would be fascinated. What a masterclass that would be.
Definitely. Thing that always makes him laugh.
Let me guess. Something British.
You got it.
Yeah.
British comedy, Fawlty Towers, Monty Python, Steve Coogan as Alan Partridge.
The classics. And Coogan is brilliant. It's a specific kind of awkward, clever humor.
Yeah, like Mr. Bean, maybe, for a broader reference point people might know.
True. Interesting to know what makes a comedian laugh.
And finally, one thing most people don't know about him.
Okay, hit me.
He's a damn good tennis player.
Really? Dwight Schrute.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Ranked around 4.0. He finds it funny given his self-described schlubby, middle-aged suburban dad look.
Huh. That is surprising. And kind of great. Plays pickleball, too, he mentioned.
A man of hidden talents.
Clearly. It's a good reminder, isn't it? People are more than just their public persona.
Totally. So, wrapping this deep dive up, Rainn Wilson's story, it really shows how you can blend, creative work with real-world impact.
And activism. Yeah.
And also maintain a kind of spiritual grounding through it all.
It highlights how important it is to stay centered, especially with success, and use your influence, whatever it is, for things you care about.
What really stands out for me is that integration.
Mm-hmm. Not keeping things in separate boxes, work, personal life, beliefs.
Right, but letting them all inform each other.
Hmm.
Making a more, I don't know, purposeful whole.
Exactly. A cohesive life, maybe?
So perhaps a final thought for you, the listener, to take away from this.
Sure.
Think about your own sphere of influence. It doesn't have to be huge, right?
Absolutely not.
But how can you use it, whatever it looks like, to back the things you value? And alongside that, how can you maybe connect more deeply with your own sense of purpose, your inner self, like Wilson talks about with his spiritual practice?
Yeah, it's a good question to ponder.
Maybe just consider one tiny step, that 1 millimeter shift he mentioned. What could that be for you today, either for the world or just for your own inner peace?
Something to think about.
Definitely. Well, thanks for exploring this deep dive with us today.